channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and I'm gonna give you my April TBR. It's really weird to think about how it's already April. Anyway, I want to give my normal disclaimers. If you hear a fan in the background, it's because I live in Texas and it is hot, and if you hear any animal sounds, beeping, tweeting, etc., it is because I live in a zoo and I don't have any control over the animals in the house, so on and so forth. April is going to be a pretty good month, I think, for reading. I am kind of at a point where I have met all of my reading goals, so I have finished the majority of my ongoing series, like actually finished the majority of them. I have read a lot of the books that were on my Goodreads TBR that are already out. Most of the books that I have on my Goodreads TBR right now are books that aren't released yet, so I obviously can't read them unless I happen to get them as an ARC. It's gonna be an interesting time. So I've got a couple of sections. So my continuing series section is now going to be new and continuing series because I think there's just one. Yeah, for April there's just one book that is a continuing series, and so everything else is going to be new beyond then. And to be honest, I didn't realize that the second book came out until I was making this TBR, and I was like, oh crap. So I had to adjust a bunch of things so that I could be able to include it in this list. So let's go ahead and get this on the show on the road with that as our first section. So for new or continuing series, we've got a new book, a new series called A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy I. Lin. For Ning, the only thing worse than losing her mother is knowing that it's her own fault. She was the one who unknowingly brewed the poison tea that killed her, the poison tea that now threatens to also take her sister. When Ning hears of a competition to find the kingdom's greatest Xinongxi, master of the ancient and magical art of tea making, she travels to the imperial city to compete. The winner will receive a favor from the princess, which may be Ning's only chance to save her sister's life. But between the backstabbing competitors, bloody court politics, and a mysterious and handsome boy with a shocking secret, Ning might actually be the one in more danger. I'm really excited about this one. I've had it on my TBR for quite a while, I feel like, anyway, or it's been on my radar for a while anyway. I have the audiobook pre-ordered and it comes out at the end of March, so actually in a couple of days, so I'm pretty excited about getting to read it. I also think the cover is just absolutely beautiful. Then we have The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland for generations. Floods sweep away entire villages, while bloody wars are waged over the few remaining resources. Her people believe that the sea god, once their protector, now curses them with death and despair. In an attempt to appease him, each year a beautiful maiden is thrown into the sea to serve as the sea god's bride, in the hopes that one day the true bride will be chosen and end their suffering. Many believe that Shim Cheong, the most beautiful girl in the village and the beloved of Mina's older brother Jun, may be the legendary true bride. To save her brother, Mina throws herself into the water in Cheong's stead. With the help of a mysterious young man named Shin, as well as a motley crew of demons, gods, and spirits, Mina sets out to wake the sea god and bring an end to the killer storm once and for all. I put this as a new series, but I don't know if this is a series. So I don't know. This is another one that's been on my radar for a while. I was denied the ARC and like really sad about it, but it's been on my radar for quite a while, and I currently have the audiobook just waiting for me to listen to from the library, so I'm pretty excited to get to read it. I don't know how many times I'm going to say I'm pretty excited, sorry y'all, but I genuinely am, so, you know. Then we have a reread and a new sequel, which is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin and A Psalm of Storms and Silence, Song and Psalm by Roseanne A. Brown. I'm going to read the descriptor for the second book, not the first book, because I'm going to reread the first book and I only vaguely remember the plot. It was kind of similar to Children of Blood and... do I still have those books? And Magic? I don't remember. Y'all know what I'm talking about though, I hope. Karina lost everything after a violent coup left her without her kingdom or her throne. Now the most wanted person in Sanande, her only hope of reclaiming what is rightfully hers, lies in the divine power hidden in the long-lost city of her ancestors. Meanwhile, the resurrection of Karina's sister has spiraled the world into chaos, with disaster after disaster threatening the hard-won peace Malik has found as for Reed's apprentice. When they discover that Karina herself is the key to restoring balance, Malik must use his magic to lure her back to their side. But how do you regain the trust of someone you once tried to kill? So in the first book, Malik basically like romanced Karina and was trying to kill her for various reasons, and then her sister came back from the dead, I think? I don't remember, and that's why I'm going to be rereading it. And then we have another new series, which is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. This is interesting because on Goodreads there is like I'll see like a 5-star read from someone that I'm friends with on Goodreads, and then like a 1-star or DNF from someone that I'm friends with on Goodreads, and then a 5-star, and then a 1-star. And so I have no idea how I'm going to feel about this book. I watched the sci-fi series with my husband way early on in our relationship, and I enjoyed it a lot. I don't think I ever finished it though. I have no memory of finishing it, so I don't know if I just got uninterested or if it became uninteresting or I forgot I was watching it. I'm really not sure. So, The Magicians is about Quentin Coldwater, who is brilliant but miserable. He's a senior in high school, and he's still secretly preoccupied with a series of fantasy novels he read as a child set in the magical land called Fillory. Imagine his surprise when he finds himself unexpectedly admitted to a very secret, very exclusive college of magic in upstate New York, where he receives a thorough and rigorous education in the craft of modern sorcery. This is like people have described this as a Harry Potter meets Narnia fanfic, essentially, and I read Narnia. Having not read Harry Potter and not been interested in really either of those series to the extent that some people are, I am curious about whether or not I will enjoy the books. Then for my other books, I actually have a couple of books that are not, I would say not expected, maybe. They are both non-fiction, and they're both kind of conversations. One is a conversation about religion and from more of an academic perspective, and the other is a conversation about music and the political scene that music creates, essentially, and also women and how they fit into that. So yeah. We have first up we have After Jesus and Before Christianity. The author here is listed as Aaron Vierencombe, but there's actually several researchers and scholars that have participated in the writing of this book. Christianity has endured, that's a weird word that I apparently don't know how to say. Okay. For more than 2 millennia and is practiced by billions worldwide today. Yet that longevity has created difficulties for scholars tracing the religion's roots, distorting much of the historical investigation into the first 2 centuries of the Jesus movement. But what if Christianity died in the 4th or 5th centuries after it began? How would that change how historians see and understand its first 200 years? Considering these questions, 3 Bible scholars from the Westar Institute summarize the work of the Christianity Seminar and its efforts to offer a new way of thinking about Christianity and its roots. I have religious trauma, and also I do think that the historical background and the historical history of Christianity is interesting, because Christianity did not exist realistically when Jesus wasn't a Christian. So I don't know. Interesting, you know? I want to know what it's about. I read some reviews, and a lot of them are from fellow scholars or academics, which I am not. I'm not one of those. I'm just a consumer of literature. So I'll be interested to see if this is too above my reading level or what. I used to read these kinds of books in high school, though, for fun, and write my own research papers for fun. I have ADHD, had untreated ADHD, can you tell? Then we have She Come By It Natural by Sarah Smarsh, which is about Dolly Parton. If you don't know about me, some of you may not know about me, I'm fucking obsessed with Dolly Parton, like an unhealthy amount. I love Dolly Parton. I have told my father repeatedly, if you guys don't know, my dad plays Santa, I've told my dad repeatedly, if for some reason he gets to be Dolly Parton's Santa Claus for some reason and he does not bring me, we will no longer be in contact with one another. He will not get to meet my children. And me and my dad were close, so I mean that shit. The book. Smarsh explores the overlooked... My mouth just stopped working. Smarsh explores the overlooked contributions to social progress by such women, including those averse to the term feminism, as exemplified by Dolly Parton's life and art. Far beyond the recently resurrected Jolene or the quintessential 9 to 5, Parton's songs for decades have validated women who go unheard. The poor woman, the pregnant teenager, the struggling mother disparaged as trailer trash. Parton's broader career, from singing on the front porch of her family's cabin in the Great Smoky Mountains to achieving stardom in Nashville and Hollywood, from girl singer managed by powerful men to leader of self-made business and philanthropy empire, offers a springboard to examining the intersections of gender, class, and culture. If you don't know anything about Dolly Parton, I think that it is relevant to know that Dolly Parton came from a home with many, many siblings, a small town that would trash the town whore. She was poor. The Coat of Many Colors, the Patchwork Color, whatever that song's called, is an example of that. And she then became who she is today. And, you know, Dolly Parton has always kind of been a caricature of herself to be a slap in the face of the expectations of society, and she has talked about this in interviews. I'm not just like putting philosophies on Dolly Parton without any context. I also really appreciate that she's been married to her husband for about as long as she's been in the music career, and like they had their 50th wedding anniversary a couple of years ago, and a few years ago, I don't know, time's not real. I genuinely, like, outside of fangirling, I genuinely think that Dolly Parton, as a person and as a philanthropist, has done some really amazing things and participated in some really amazing things. And yes, I know that when we say eat the rich, that would include Dolly Parton. She's done things like, if you work at Dollywood, you get your college is paid for, like that the books thing where you can sign your kids up and they get a book every year until they're 18, and things like that is just really interesting to me, because I think that she's done a pretty good job of being a public advocate for the poor and for, you know, LGBTQ communities and so on, without, I don't know how to explain it. This is like a whole other conversation that I would have to have like an entire other video about Dolly Parton, and we're not gonna get into that. Then I'm gonna read Daughter of Black Lake by Kathy Marie Buchanan. It's the season of fallow in the era of iron in a northern misty bog surrounded by woodlands and wheat fields. A settlement lies far beyond the reach of the Romans, invading hundreds of miles to the southeast. I can read. Here, life is simple, or so it seems to the tightly knit community. Sow, reap, honor Mother Earth, who will provide at a harvest time. A girl named Devout comes of age, sweetly flirting with the young man she's tilled alongside all of her life, and envisions a future of love and abundance. 17 years later, though, the settlement is a changed place. Famine has brought struggle, and outsiders with their foreign ways and military might have arrived at their doorstep. For Devout's young daughter, life is more troubled than her mother ever anticipated. But this girl has an extraordinary gift. As worlds collide and peril threatens, it will be up to her to save her family and community. This book could be either really good or really fucking boring, and those are the two options. I really think that's it. Then we have Her Body and Other Parties. This is a horror anthology by Carmen Maria Machado. It has several different stories. It has several different stories, and it is where the author essentially is reimagining Law and Order episodes, including like ghosts and shit. Basically saying like Law and Order Special Victims Unit, SVU, did not, like, should have included paranormal stuff. I don't know, it seems interesting. My only concern is that it might contain court procedural information, or certain other triggers that I can't handle as a reader, and is one of my very specific triggers. And that is one of the tricky parts about me being someone who enjoys thrillers, is that I can't do court procedural stuff. It's hard for me. So then we have The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller. This one was not on my TBR originally, but then Landis, who is Manic Femme on pretty much all socials, posted about it on TikTok, and I was like, I guess I have to put this on my TBR. And Landis was like, you read 1 billion books a month, so yes, you do. Which is fair, but also, leave me alone, okay? Okay. But literally just based on Landis's recommendation, I was like, okay, I'll read it, done. I don't need any more information from you. Charm is a witch, and she is alone. The last of a line of conquered necromantic workers, now confined with the yard of regrown bone trees at Orchard House, and the secrets of their marrow. Charm is a prisoner and a survivor. Charm is a whore and a madam. The wealthy and powerful of Borengard come to her house to buy time with girls who aren't real, except on Tuesdays, which is when the Emperor himself lays claim to his mistress, Charm herself. Now, Charm is also the only person who can keep an empire together, as the Emperor summons her to his deathbed and charges her with choosing which of his awful, faithless sons will carry on the empire, by discovering which one is responsible for his own murder. If she does this last thing, she will finally have what has been denied her since the fall of Inchil, her freedom. But she will also be betraying the ghosts past and present that live on within her heart. Charm must choose her dead emperor's will or the whispers of her own ghosts, justice for the empire or her own revenge. It just sounds really interesting. It just sounds like things I would enjoy. There's a lot of parts of that that sound like, okay, I would enjoy that. That sounds interesting. You know? Then we have our queer book crew pick. At the time of me filming this, we have not chosen that yet, so either editing me will include it in this video, or because I'm filming this about almost a week before the month ends, so actually this is definitely not going to be edited in. The me who uploads videos, I will put it in the description box down below, but if I don't, or if this video comes out even still before that pick has been chosen for the queer book crew, you can check out our Discord, and Art, I think, generally tweets or posts on her blog which book was chosen. So if I forget, the queer book crew links are down below regardless. They're always down below, so you can check that out. For my arcs, first I'm excited, but I'll tell you why in a minute. First, we have Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I've read Adeline Grace's other books and I have enjoyed them. Not great at sequels, but otherwise. 19-year-old Signa Farrow, orphaned as a baby, has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has been met with an untimely end. Her last remaining relatives are the Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at the glittering and gloomy estate of Thorn Grove. Thorn Grove's patriarch, Elijah, mourns his wife, Lillian, through wild parties and drink, while eldest son, Percy, grapples for control of the family's waning reputation, and daughter Blythe suffers from the same mysterious illness that killed her mother. And when Lillian's spirit confronts Signa and claims she was poisoned, Signa realizes that Blythe could be next to die. Signa's best chance of uncovering the culprit and solving Lillian's murder is in an alliance with Death himself, the very man she hates the most. And Death, the fascinating, dangerous shadow who has never been far from her side, shows her that their connection may be more powerful than she ever dared imagine. It just sounds spicy. I just like books where we personify death. I think it's neat. Or like necromancy, also neat. But I like books where death is personified. I think it's a really interesting concept. Then we have Suburban Hell by Maureen Kilmer. This is a horror that I think is going to be funny, actually, because they reference the author who wrote My Best Friend's Exorcism. Amy Foster considers herself lucky. After she left the city and went full minivan, she found her place quickly with her neighbors, Liz, Jess, and Melissa, together snarking the Mom Mafia from the outskirts of the PTA mom crowd. So one night, during their monthly wine get-together, the newfound crew concoct a plan for a clubhouse she shed in Liz's backyard. The perfect space for just them, no spouses or kids allowed. But the night after they christen the space with ceremonial drink, things start to feel off. What they didn't expect was for Liz's little home improvement project to release a demonic force that turns their quiet suburban enclave into something out of a nightmare. And that's before the Homeowners Association gets wind of it. HOAs, man. If you're not from the United States and don't know what an HOA is, lucky. Just as Liz is turned into a creepy doll face overnight, cases of haunting activity around the neighborhood intensify, and even the calmest moms can't justify the strange burn marks, self-moving dolls, and horrible smells surrounding their possessed friend, Liz. Together, Amy, Jess, and Melissa must fight back the evil spirits to save Liz in the neighborhood before the suburbs go completely to hell. But at least they don't have to deal with the PTA, right? It just sounds funny. Like, the vibe of it is funny to me. Okay, for my next book, for my next arc, I need to get something for you. Okay, one moment. She's here. She's present. My child. It's here. Okay. This is Merida. In case you didn't know, this is the toddler version of Merida. She had a bow and arrow. I do not know where they went. She has her belt that held all of it, but I don't know where anyway, here she is. We love her. Merida was my comfort Disney princess for several years, as I was a redhead for several years who curled her hair nonstop to look like Merida. I kid you not. Why do I have this doll in my hands right now? Because I'm going to tell you about the arc I'm going to read. And I was really excited about it, so I'm going to tell you. I was approved bravely by Maggie Stiefvater, the author of those books. Right? Did I point the right ones? I did. The Raven King. The Raven Cycle. Those books. She probably wrote other stuff. I don't even know. It is the Disney retelling of Brave with Merida. One princess. Merida of Dunbrock needs a change. She loves her family, jovial King Fergus, proper Queen Eleanor, the mischievous triplets, and her peaceful kingdom, but she's frustrated by its sluggishness. Each day the same. Merida longs for adventure, purpose, challenge, maybe even someday love. Two gods, but the fiery princess never expects her disquiet to manifest by way of Readathon, an uncanny supernatural being tasked with rooting out rot and stagnation, who appears in Dunbrock on Christmas Eve with the intent to demolish the realm and everyone within. Only the intervention of the CLEARURSHT, an ancient entity of creation, gives Merida a shred of hope. Convince her family to change within the year, or suffer the eternal consequences. 3 voyages. Under the watchful eyes of the gods, Merida leads a series of epic journeys to kingdoms near and far in an attempt to inspire revolution within her family. But in her efforts to save those she loves from ruin, has Merida lost sight of the clan member grown most stagnant of all, herself. 4 seasons to save Dunbrock, or see it destroyed forever. I think I've talked enough about why I want to read this arc. I think you can kind of guess. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. We're gonna keep Merida though, because I want to. Next we have my Cute Mutants reread, which will be continuing. I will be reading Cute Mutants Volume 4 and Cute Mutants Volume 5, and then also Weapon Ulu, which actually lives on my favorites bookshelf. I know you're probably thinking, why doesn't all of the Cute Mutants live on my favorite bookshelf? Because there's a lot and I don't have room. Also, this is one of my favorite covers. So this is Weapon Ulu. Should I stamp? Which stamp do you have? It's not even stamped. I need to stamp it. And it's for everyone who wanted more mutants, and I'm one of those people. There you go. This book is one of my favorites. I just finished my Cute Mutants reread and the first 3, and it's really, really good. And I know obviously how it's concluded, but I'm very excited about experiencing it again, because experiencing the second book over again, where one of the more emotional things happened, still made me emotional, and S.J. Whitby's writing continues to be amazing and fascinating to me. So I'm excited about that reread. I have been trying to live tweet it, and if I remember to, I will try and link that thread down below so that you guys can see when I'm going to read them and what I'm going to do in case you want to join in on it. Then for our next section, art recommendations. For those of you that don't know, Art is my best friend, one of my best friends, and she and I run CLEARURSHT together, and she is also the creator of the Queer Book Crew. Amongst other things, she's an amazing blogger and book recommender and so on. She has impeccable book taste, except when it comes to, you know, her top book in January about Beanie Babies, and she always knows what to recommend me. And I have very specific tastes, so that's really saying something. So that was enough about Art. I don't want it to go to her head, but, you know, April is her birthday month, so. We have 2 books in the recommendation section this month, and that is going to be The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. The Alexandrian Society is a secret society of magical academians, the best in the world. Their members are caretakers of lost knowledge from the greatest civilizations of antiquity, and those who earn a place among their number will secure a life of wealth, power, and prestige beyond their wildest dreams. Each decade, the world's 6 most uniquely talented magicians are selected for initiation. When the candidates are recruited by the mysterious Atlas Blakely, they are told they must spend 1 year together to qualify for initiation. During this time, they will be permitted across the Society's archives and judged on their contributions to arcane areas of knowledge. 5, they are told, will be initiated. 1 will be eliminated. If they can prove themselves to be the best, they will survive. Most of them. I got live messaged about this book because Art was excited about it, so that means inherently it's going to be a good book. Then we have a book title that's too long. The Undiscovered Deaths of Grace McGill by C.S. Robertson. Death is not the end. For Grace McGill, it's only the beginning. When people die alone and undiscovered, it's her job to clean up what's left behind, whether it's clutter, bodily remains, or dark secrets. When an old man lies undetected in his flat for months, it seems an unremarkable life and an unnoticed death. But Grace knows that everyone has a story and that all deaths mean something more. I have no idea what this book is about. Does it matter? No, I'm still excited about it. I'm still going to be reading it. So, you know, take that how you will. That's it. That's my TBR. I know you're probably thinking, Andy, that's like no books. It's, I think, 19 books. It's 19 books. That's it. Overall, I have been slowing down my reading and lowering my reading numbers, so I'm kind of pleased with just having 19. It's a nice break. Also, April is going to be a little bit wild because I will be preparing fully and full readathon prep for June. So, yeah, no. But that's it. That's my TBR. I'm gonna go. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. If any of these books are on your TBR or are now on your TBR, or you've seen Brave and also feel the way that I do about Brave, comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. If some of these books you read and you hated, also let me know. There's a chance that when this video comes up, I'll have already started reading some of these and already be disappointed. But you never know. So just let me know. I'll be interested to hear. Or if they're some of your favorite books, I, again, will be interested to hear. I do actually love those comments. It just takes me a little while to get to them because I get overwhelmed easily. If you didn't enjoy this video, let me know also how I can make it better for you, unless you don't like me, and then in which case, why are you watching my video? Move along. I don't know what to tell you. I will see you guys again on Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time and Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every single week. Yeah, that's it. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourself. Okay, thanks, bye.